Yay! Yay! I'm the Cajun Contractor Michael King, and this is Hometalk USA. Today's topic is all about foundations. And my guest today is going to be Meinolf Schulte. He's with a company called BAYO.S Extendable Screws. Now, Meinolf is going to be talking about a very innovative way to actually secure foundations and slabs. Meinolf is also going to be a guest on my radio program. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back right here at the Hometalk USA workshop. I'm the Cajun Man. Y'all come back now, you hear? Yay! Meinolf Schulte, welcome to Hometalk USA, and boy, I had a great time today, because I tell you, a little late in the show, we're going to be demonstrating to our audience how these ground screws actually work. In a few words, can you describe what is a ground screw?
A few words, that's hard, but let's try it. So first, thanks for having me here. A ground screw, at the end of the day, it's an oversized drywall screw. Same concept, tapered form, tapered pipe with welded threads to it. So instead of digging a hole, pouring concrete in the ground, you drill the screw in the ground and it's ready to go, as it can be used as a foundation.
And wow, saves time, saves money, don't have to dig, no concrete, no curing. You pretty much screw these ground screws into the ground, and
it's ready to go.
It's ready to go.
Yep.
Can you explain the difference in ground screws, though?
The difference in ground screws in general is that depending on the bearing capacity you're required to reach, you need different lengths, you need different width of the pipe. So depending on soil conditions and bearing capacity, you have to vary or figure out what type of screw, or the engineers usually do, figure out what type of screw you need for your project.
Well, what's amazing, you can go from a regular old wooden deck to a basic big foundation. And that's what's good about this. It's that no foundation job too small, no foundation job too big. Am I correct?
The sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. And what I like about it, you know, over a period of time, wood rots at the end of the day.
That's correct.
Foundations have to be, the pilings have to be replaced. But in this situation, no, it's there, it's permanent.
No, there is. We give actually a 20 years warranty on the foundation, on the steel itself. So it's built to last for a lifetime.
Now, what makes the ground screw different compared to other foundations? What makes it different?
The big difference is it's fast, it's precise, it's clean. There's no environmental impact on it, because the way the screw goes in the ground, you can take it out again. So if you have temporary construction or you whatever, do a mismeasurement, whatever, you just take it out of the ground and reinstall it.
Well, you have the system designed both ways, for the do-it-yourselfer and the professional contractor, right?
That's correct.
Now, what are the financial benefits of using ground screws, say, to the homeowner, and what does the financial ground screw say to the contractor, you know, the financial?
Let's start with the homeowner. The homeowner saves, like the contractor, saves time. So let's say the wife comes and says, hey honey, let's build a deck. The guy starts sweating because, you know, the weekend is gone, no fishing, no hunting. It means digging holes, pouring concrete. Using a ground screw means go to the next building supply, get the products. It can be installed in hours instead of in days. Next thing is, you don't mess up your property. If you have a beautiful new garden and somebody comes up with a construction idea, latest when the wife sees an excavator or a concrete truck coming in, she will kill you.
Yeah.
So here we have a unique product that doesn't mess up the place. So you come in, you can carry it through your living room and nobody bothers. Puts the screws in the ground, drill them in the ground, and there's no mess in the property. So no cleaning work, no mess in the property, time saving. So we talk about money and comfort of life. For a professional contractor, we have pretty heavy equipment to do the jobs. So on large-scale construction projects, where usually it takes weeks to build the foundation, and you have, and this is a point many people don't see, you have to remobilize. A contractor comes, digs a hole. Then the building inspector comes and has to check how deep is the hole, is everything done according to code. Then they pour the concrete, they have to let it sit for a couple of days or weeks and come and remobilize. With our product, you put the foundation in the ground and you're set to go. There's no second or no third mobilization. So that's where all the cost savings come in. Next is the time. Building, for example, we build a deck, 16 foundations in about 3 hours.
Wow.
Instead of 2 or 3 days.
Who can install the ground screws though?
The DIY stuff can be installed by everyone. When the customer goes to a building supplier and wants to buy the product, he gets a little brochure showing how to put it in the ground. But this is only for residential construction, small fences, small decks, small whatever, mailbox, flags. Everybody can crank it in the ground. The only thing he has to do is he has to make certain that nothing is in the ground, power lines, water lines, gas pipes, so you have to make your call to dig safe or call before you dig. For the professional product line, we certify installers and contractors. So they come, they can buy our equipment, they go to school, our engineers, our technicians show them how to put the screws in the ground, all the safety measurements, all the engineering applications, everything. They will be trained, and after a 2 or 3 days course, they are certified to use our product, and we back everything up with engineers and with technicians.
Meinolf, let me ask you this. What does BAYO.S stand for, okay?
Actually, we stand for quality, but I know that's not the question. No, BAYO.S is the shortcut of the word bayonet. You know, the gun with the bayonet on top of it, you just put the knife, lock it in. We used this concept, this idea, to develop a connection between pipe, because our ground screws, the name as it says, is extendable ground screws, means you can extend the length of the pipe. You need this when you're dealing with softer soils and you need more capacity on the screw, you have to go deeper into the ground. So we don't, there's projects out in the market where you have to weld the pipe on site, and we want to avoid the welding process. So you put the screw in the ground, you need a longer screw, just put an extension to it, lock it in with a bayonet and keep going and drilling into the ground.
Meinolf, what kind of soil conditions can ground screws be installed in though?
For heaven's sake, almost everything you can imagine on the planet besides acidic soils, because that's an issue with corrosion. But we can do soft soil, we can do sand, we can do clay, we can do even rocky terrain. So even in the Canadian Shield, we can do installation. It takes a little bit longer, it's a little bit more expensive, but there's a technique to it, how to put a ground screw into a rock.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got you now. All right, I want to see you get out of this one, all right?
Okay, challenge me.
And I'm only thinking as a contractor now. I got my my contracting hat on. What if I hit a rock?
You're screwed. No, you're not. No, actually, I would say the concept is very well thought through. We've installed a couple of million actually worldwide in the last couple of years. So our contractors provide solutions almost for every problem, and we collect the information and distribute it out to our contractors. So just imagine you're dealing with hardwood. Try to put a screw into hardwood, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You cannot do this. So what do you do with hardwood? You're the contractor. You pre-drill.
Pre-drill.
Correctly. So we do the same thing. We have teamed up with a huge rock drilling manufacturer from Europe, who provides rock drilling equipment for the mining industry. And these guys built a rock drill for us that attaches to our installation equipment. So when you hit a rock, when you're dealing with concrete, you have a problem. You have to come with an excavator, dig out the rock, compact the soil, build your foundation. We take a shortcut here. We drill a core which has exactly the outside diameter or the inside diameter of the pipe, on the outside diameter of the pipe, the inside of the rock, and we drill a straight core into the rock, and then we insert the ground screw into the rock.
Well, and I want to be clear about this, because you have to understand these ground screws, again, can be used for the small decks or major foundations, major slabs, and that's what we're talking about. If you were building a big commercial building on a slab, or that's what we're talking about. So we're talking two separate technologies. You're talking about the ground screw itself, and then you're also talking about the equipment that you need, different pieces of equipment handles different part of the job depending what ground screw you need, right?
That's correct.
Because I seen the big tractor. I mean, this big crane-looking tractor that can screw the ground screw into the ground. If you have to go, say, you know, 20, 30, 40 feet into the ground, you understand? So that's what I want to clear, right? I mean, we're talking two separate things here, right?
It's actually the equipment itself. The only thing we need on the heavy equipment is a machine with a high hydraulic flow.
Okay.
We need 20 gallons of hydraulic flow to adjust, install our equipment with. And we design to any kind of equipment, excavators, mini excavators, bobcats, we design our installation equipment. The do-it-yourselfer is a different animal.
Yeah.
We should not have him going 4, 5, 6 feet in the ground.
Yeah, you know, especially if you're doing a little, you know, deck, which I'm going to go 3 foot in the ground, you know. But does frozen ground or winter conditions have an impact on the construction, though?
Only for the installer, because he's freezing his butt off. No, that's actually the reason why I brought this product from Europe into Canada, because in the northern part of Canada, the construction season is only 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
With our product, this hibernating doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So the guys can install 24/7, 365 days a year. If you're in frozen ground, it doesn't make a big difference. You put the screws in frozen ground. If you're dealing with air water pockets in the ground, then you have to come back to the pre-drilling process. But in general, it's doable in frozen ground and even in permafrost.
Wow. What do engineers and architects really think about the product, though?
They love the idea because of our flexibility, because of the speed of installation. So there's many projects we are kind of saving because they are running out of time, and we can come in and put in whatever. On a good day, in normal conditions, we can put in a couple of hundred foundations in the day.
Meinolf, you brought us some ground screws and all the components that you manufacture. What do we have here?
Let's start with the first item. That's a ground screw. We call it A. So ground screw installation is like ABC.
Okay.
Let's start here. That's a typical ground screw for the do-it-yourselfer.
All right.
You see the sharp tip. That's where you mark the installation spot. And then it's designed like a standard classic wood screw. It has a tapered form that cranks into the ground. The threads bite into the ground, and by turning it, it sinks into the ground. This is part A. If you're dealing with softer soil and you need a higher bearing capacity, you have to go deeper into the ground, because ground screws work on two components. It's compaction and friction. So the deeper you go in the ground, the more dense the soil gets. So we have part P.
Which is an extension.
It's an extension of the ground screw. We have a mechanism developed, we call it the bayonet. You just plug the screw in, twist it, and drill it deeper into the ground.
And if you have to go deeper again?
You just extend it until you hit what you need.
All right.
And the third part is the attachment to the structure you want to build.
Okay.
For example, if you're building a smaller deck, you need 4x4 posts. So we developed a so-called U-bracket. It's part C, which has the 4x4 shape. You already got it.
Mm-hmm. And this would go
on top of
that.
So,
okay.
This is the whole story about the ground screw. If you're dealing with an improper installation or you have a crooked...
That was my next question here.
Here you go, and we have the answer for you.
Okay.
So we have another attachment. It's called a flange plate.
All right.
We have a nut welded in here.
All right.
And we have a so-called flex bracket.
All right.
This bracket here has slots on the bottom. So you put it on top of the flange plate. You have a nut to it, so you can slide about an inch back and forth to correct whatever improperly installed.
Which is basically creating another U-bracket.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So,
all right.
That's at the end of the day the whole story of the ground screw.
Now, we actually have to screw it into the ground.
That sounds like a plan.
That sounds like a plan. So what do we have to do that with?
Okay, so with the ground screws, we deliver to the hardware stores or to the building suppliers an installation tool. The first part you have, we call it a ramming spike. You just punch it into the ground where the spot is marked where the screw has to be installed. And then we have these installation tools. You slide it into the ground screw and use it as a drill.
And then you have the bars to give you that torque.
Correct.
Great.
Just to make your life a little bit easier.
Well, Meinolf, it sounds like you're ready to give us a demonstration. Let's go outside and build a deck.
Let's do it.
Now, Meinolf, what I did, I call before I dig.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the next step we need to do?
Okay, the next step is actually you have to mark the installation spots.
Which I've already done.
Do your measurements. When the measurements are done, you take the spike, which will be delivered with the tools you can rent from your building supplier. Take the spike, go to the spot and punch it in the ground. You use the spike to break the ground because when it's wet, it's easy to get in the ground. When it's dry, the soil is hard, so the screw won't be able to grab. Punch it in the ground and mark the spot.
Get a good mark.
Yes.
You know, get a mark, move it around, squirt it around, get a nice little hole.
Yes,
okay.
so let's do this first.
All right.
And then when the spike is punched in the ground, the hole is open, you start installing the screw.
So now when you start installing the screw, you just basically screw it into the ground. And I saw that you twisted a little bit, so you just twist it till you get a good firm bite into it. And then you take the tool, the little bar, and that's what you use to basically screw it in the ground.
Screw it. It's an oversized drywall screw at the end of the day.
And then you continue screwing it in the ground till you basically get a good level. If you have to go a little further, because as you know, in South Louisiana, we have very soft mud.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need, you know, probably a good 4 or 5 feet into the ground. So that's where you just put your extensions, right? You just putting your extensions on.
We have 250 and 500 millimeter extensions, exactly invented the whole system for softer soils where you have no idea what will you hit. There are certain spots on the property where you have soft soil, you have to go deeper. When you have dense clay, you just have to put a screw tip in the ground and you're done.
After I have the screw into the ground, there's two problems that's probably going to arise. The first problem is I have to make sure that the screw is securely fastened into the ground, right?
That's correct. So when you install the screw, you feel with the pressure you have to put up on the tool to get it in the ground if you're solid or not. And if you're insecure, just for your safety, we recommend take an extension and put the screw a little bit deeper into the ground until you really can feel, wow, now it's hard to get in the ground, the screw will be solid.
And then what's the next step?
So when the screw is securely fastened in the ground, the last step is actually to attach what we call a U-bracket, which is a 4x4 saddle out of metal. You put it on top of the screw, line it up so that your post fits properly, and you're done.
And then you're ready to assemble your deck.
That's correct.
Meinolf, what if I mismeasured the board or my board is crooked? What can you do?
Or you didn't install properly.
Oh, I'm not going to say that, okay? All right? All right.
Pretty simple. We have something invented. We call it a flex bracket.
Okay.
It's the same shape like the U-bracket you have seen before, but it has a slot mounted to it, cut into it, so you can play about 1 inch in the horizontal directions.
All right, now I'm a professional contractor. I'm not going to sit and turn that board round and round and round because I need time. Solution for that?
Time is money, pretty simple. So we invented some tools. We call it a torque multiplier. It's a gearbox that gets mounted to your rotary drill, and it reduces speed to torque. So instead of running around, walking around, having a merry-go-round, you stand, let the machine do the job, and the machine installs the screws for you.
And this is for professional deck contractors?
This is for people, Joe Blow cannot buy this equipment. Somebody has to get licensed. So we have a training program in place. If somebody is interested to become a licensed certified installer for our product, we train the people, show them the proper equipment, give them the engineering backup, whatever they need to play safe.
Well, I know if I can see now that this is the solution to install a deck quick and fast with really no effort.
And not only decks, playground equipment, fences, porches, whatever you can imagine.
Big house foundations.
Sure, definitely.
Well, Meinolf, we are out of time. I want to thank you for being our guests and really educating my audience on these extendable ground screws. Do you have a website and some contact information?
Yes, we have. It's called www.BAYO-S.com or -US, and you get all the information there. You can look up our contact form. We will respond as soon as possible and help you guys out.
Give us that website one more time.
BAYO-S.com or -US.
Great. Meinolf Schulte, thank you so much for being our guest.
You're welcome.
All right, that about does it for another edition of Home Talk right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, HometalkTV.com. You can catch the very best of home improvement information and education. I'm the Cajun Man. Yay! Y'all come back next week, you hear?
Home Talk with the Cajun Contractor is brought to you in part by Air King, manufacturers of quality ventilation products. For more comfortable living, there's only one name to consider: Air King. Bonide Products, experts in lawn, garden, and pest control solutions, trusted since 1926. For all your roofing solutions, there's only one name: Aztec Washer, when reliability counts. And Boat Life Products, USA made and USA proud for over 50 years. For decorators, deck railing, and accessories, go beyond the ordinary. To be considered as a guest on Home Talk, send an email to Michael with your product, subject matter, and how it can benefit the end user. If you would like to advertise on Home Talk, contact Anthony Ellis toll-free at 855-785-0222.